Let's tank the Felhounds of Sargeras in Antorus on Mythic difficulty. Now these two dogs absolutely destroy tanks in Mythic difficulty. I was really struggling with parts of this fight just to keep myself alive, even rotating cooldowns just because of how the fight works, where you pretty much have a debuff on each player now, and that means like you get to pick a dog. Now for the tanks, you pre-decide which one you're going to have, so one of you is always going to have the purple one of you is always going to be on the fire one, no matter what debuff you have. So if say you're on the purple one and you get the red debuff, you're really going to be taking a lot of damage. And even if you don't halfway through the fight, the debuff swap anyway. So at least one part of this fight, you're going to be taking a hell of a lot of tank damage. So just keep that in mind and don't be afraid to call for external cooldowns. Always know where your healers are and don't be afraid to speak up when you're running out of cooldowns. Now apart from that, the only real difference here is that the fire dog's going to be dropping a lot of fire around it, so the fire dog needs to be kited around the outside of the room, and this means the shadow dog will also need to be kited. So pretty much the shadow dog's going to be chasing the fire dog and following it around, and you want to try to keep them in dotters ranges so your affliction warlock, so your shadow priest can keep dots on both just to get that bit more extra damage out, because the quicker you kill this boss, the better. But just remember to keep them 40 yard spread or they get empowered, which is never good. So let's quickly have a look at a few of the mythic abilities that are coming up. The first one that you need to be wary of, and it's very important, is these dogs no longer share a health pool and they both need to be killed pretty much at the same time, or else dark reconstruction is going to happen. And what this does is, upon reaching 1 health, it attempts to create a link with the Twisting Nether, restoring 15% of the caster's health. So basically, kill them at the same time. You have a few seconds to do it. Just call for a swap. Balance your DPS about 10% health left on one of them, and you should be pretty good. Now, apart from that, it's just the 2 debuffs. Now, as I've already said, there's a shadow debuff and a fire debuff. Now, the shadow one will reduce all shadow damage taken by 25%. Receiving fire damage triggers a shadow scar. And what shadow scar is, it's going to blast the nearest ally for 1 million shadow damage, and it's going to pull allies to the shadow touch player's location. Now, you might possibly see this on the video that I'm going to put up, that players get dragged towards me, and this is when I have the shadow debuff and the flame like lines come out. If you get touched by that, it's going to pull players towards you. So when this happens, the players who are stacking on the shadow dog just need to be a bit aware of what's actually going to happen and be prepared to run out and not get cleaved by the boss, or they'll probably die. Now, if you get the fire debuff, what's going to happen is you're going to reduce fire damage taken by 25%, but receiving shadow damage triggers Burning Flash and Burning Remnant. Now, Burning Flash is going to, after a short delay, target location, explodes for 1.5 million fire damage to players within 5 yards. And Burning Remnant is going to set the ground ablaze for 2 minutes. Contact with the singed ground inflicts 950k fire damage every second. So basically all this is a little red swirl below you. Just get out of it and a fire patch is left behind. As you'll see, I tried to stack it up while moving the dog or kiting the dog around. Just put it next to each other. If you need to make bigger moves to catch up with the other dog, just do it. Don't worry too much, just don't stand in it. Real simple stuff. Now, apart from that, there's nothing really new about the fight. You don't want to face the dogs at the raid. If people are getting pulled to you, they need to get off you, or they're going to get cleaved by the cleave mechanics that the dogs still do. You need to make sure you have your attic mitigation up to negate the damage from this. You still need to stack up for the fear circles, or you're going to get feared. I believe it's 3 players on top of you. To also negate this, you can use like Berserker Rage Front or Warrior. You can also use trinkets like the Nightbane trinket. I believe it's called Ethereal Zern. I used it on our second kill just to help out a little bit and get a bit more damage out, so players didn't have to worry about stacking up on me. Raw's really strong on this fight, as you can raw when the slow's out to counteract it a bit, or you can raw when the debuff swaps. Again, you don't want to stack up the fire lines that the fire dog does. You need to spread them out. They can target the shadow dog tank like they do on heroic. If this happens, just use a minor cooldown. Don't stand in fire patches on the floor, as it ticks for 1.5 million damage, and you really don't want that extra damage to be going out when there's also a lot of other damage to go out. The tank debuff goes to 5, I believe, on the shadow. Not too sure what it is on the fire dog. I'm going to guess it's also 5 stacks. Just make sure you're using a big cooldown for the 5th one, as it does hit really hard. And that is pretty much it, guys. There's not too much really to go over from the heroic version. It's just really kiting the dogs around the center, outside of the room, and not putting them with the 40 yard threshold. As I said, the debuffs, it just is what it is. If you're really struggling, you might be able to do a tank swap, but I wouldn't really recommend it, as some of the abilities the dogs do hold positions. So if you've got a dog standing in the middle of the room, you're going to lose that 40 yard threshold, damage gets increased by 100%, you're probably going to wipe the raid, so just deal with it. Apart from that, that's pretty much everything for this guide, guys. Thanks for the huge support recently. I've got up quite a lot of subscribers for just a small WoW channel. I know my videos ain't the best, but I do try to put a bit of effort into them. Any questions, please comment down below. And as always, I'll see you on my next Mythic guide.